Hello Starseeds, this is my coup with Starseed Tarot and Readings, and today we'll be doing an automatic writing reading. And so how we're going to do this is I'm going to draw a number from this jar with numbers in them, and whatever number you feel drawn to, go to that reading. And how you're going to go to that reading is that I'm going to be pulling 6 numbers. So the first number would be reading number 1, the second number would be reading number 2, and so on and so forth. I decided to do this more intuitively because I really don't have a plan for what messages are going to come through. I wanted to just do this intuitively, just to gather what messages are coming out based on what my guides, my ancestors, my master guides, the ascended masters, and the angels are giving me. And so it'll be an intuitive, automatic writing, and we'll just go right into it. And so again, I have my little jar right here. I'm just going to pull a number. So the first reading, your number is 3. So this is reading number 1, number 3. Second number is number 2. Okay, so that's reading number 2. Third reading is 29. Just pull out number 4. Reading number 4 is 16. Reading number 5 is 20. And the last one is 13. So number 6 reading, you are number 13. Okay? So again, the readings, the numbers that are coming out for the readings are pile number 1, you're number 3. Pile number 2, you are number 2. Pile number 3, you are 29. Pile number 16, number 4 is 16. Pile number 5 is 20. And pile number 6 is 13. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds to just kind of gather what is resonating with you. So again, number 1 is the number 3. Number 2 is the number 2. Number 3 is 29. Number 4 is 16, number 5 is 20, and number 6 is 13. Okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do is, because this is an automatic writing, I have a pad of paper right here, and I'm just going to adjust this so that you see what I'm writing. So this is for number 3. right, so for pile number 1 or reading number 1, some of the things that came through to me is that you're currently at the very beginning of a transition. This could even be something that's family related. I am sensing that there is a motherly figure that is on the other side, and they are watching over you. And I was even feeling like it's ancestral or 3 generations that are on the other side, and they're looking out for you. They're supporting you from the other side, and they're nurturing you. There's a lot of warm energy as well. There's a lot of warm energy. I kind of even see that it's something where in a moment where you are feeling unsupported, just know that that warmth and that comfort that you feel is these motherly figures on the other side supporting you. And so 2020 is going to be a huge turnaround for you. Don't lose hope. That's kind of what I'm getting to. There's a lot of love in this reading, connecting to number 3. So there's a lot of there's a lot of love, and also marital. I kind of feel like there's a lot of love or a lot of things that are going to turn around in terms of your marital situation, or your partnership, or whoever you are in a relationship with. I'm sensing a lot of family, kids as well. I'm not saying that there's going to be any pregnancies or anything, but there's this sort of like presence of protectiveness. It could even be that these motherly figures on the other side are nurturing you and supporting you, and you are giving off this child energy to them, or you are reverting to this feeling of feeling like a child, like you feel lost and you need that guidance. It's kind of like that feeling of, where are my parents, or you're asking help from your parents. It's like that need for parental love. And I'm kind of sensing a lot of that. I'm also sensing a lot of earth, Mother Earth being grounded. You could be someone who is very in tune to nature, or you do a lot of gardening. I'm kind of thinking gardening, or maybe this was a pastime you shared with your mother and you're missing that. So a lot of grounding and earth energy. And just to let you know that there is a lot of love. So I'm getting a lot of loving energy as well. And again, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. 2019 is ending soon. 2020 is coming. It's coming. 2020 is coming, and whether you believe in the new year as a period for renewal or rebirth, take it as an opportunity to practice like renewal, practice like rituals of renewal. I know that for some people it's very arbitrary, right? This whole transition from 2019 to 2020, it's a human construct. Time is a human construct, but take it as an advantage to allow you to transition from one period to another, right? Even though it's hard to feel that change, implant that into your practice. And believe that 2020 is going to be the year of change for you, okay? So pile number 1 or reading number 1, this is what I have for you for number 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a very quick reading, but I hope you got the message that you were looking for, or even if you weren't looking for it. I hope that this resonated with you, okay? So we are going to transition into the next reading, which reading number 2, you have the number 2, okay? Number 2, oops. Go back into this 3 and 2. Okay. So number 2, this is your reading. You picked the number 2. Okay. Alright, so for pile number 2, I'm getting the sense that this could be confirmation for you. So everything that came through, this is confirmation. You kind of feel that there is a missing piece. There is a missing piece, and you are constantly looking for that puzzle piece. You feel like there's a hole. There's a hole, and in your spirit or in your heart, you're trying to make sense of it. It's like you're trying to figure out, like, what is it that you are missing, but know that you have to look for those signs. If you're constantly ruminating on what is missing, look for those signs. Like, how are they coming out to you? Even if they're super obvious, how does it resonate with you? What's coming through too is there's a lot of angel guides and angel energy. And as you can see right away, actually when I pulled the number, I automatically thought about 222. Now, if you're not familiar with numbers, look into that. Look into 222. There's a lot of spiritual meaning behind 222. You could potentially even see this when you look at the time or you check the time. A lot of times when there's that synchronicity, it's confirmation. It's confirmation that whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're experiencing, that you're being divinely guided. You're being divinely guided to experience that. To experience that and to understand how to move forward. So a lot of what I'm getting is look for those signs. I'm also getting a lot of Father, Holy Father, or the Father figure, supported by faith. You could be someone who had a very strong the first part of your journey, you had a huge belief in Christianity. And so you're closely connected to the ascended master Jesus. And so I'm getting a lot of Holy Father, that energy. Like, you are protected, you're divinely protected, you're divinely guided by a father figure. And that could be, the ascended master Jesus, or you have a father figure on the other side who's coming through, who is kind of showing you the way. And for some reason, I just kept, even though, the father figure is coming through, I'm also getting a lot of fa, fa, fa. And so, now that I think about it, it could even be 555. So look into that too. Look to those angelic numbers. I'm also getting the age 22. Also because of these two numbers, I'm getting a lot of 22. Something traumatic happened at the age of 22, and that has stuck with you up until this point. Where you can identify the moment of disconnect or severance from your spirit or from the things around you was probably around that age. Where all of a sudden you felt lost. And so just know that you're able to overcome it, and that it's okay. It's hard now, but it's going to be okay. And know that you are divinely guided by this male figure, whoever it is. I'm also getting a lot of the sun energy. Like, what I'm seeing is a figure in the foreground and the sun in the background. So that, for me, reads as a heavenly or celestial figure, celestial spirit that's guiding you, and they're extending their hand to help you out. Know that if you need any assistance on your spiritual journey, that they are there to help you. All you have to do is ask. And it will be given. But have faith when you ask for it. I'm also getting a lot of starlight. That's kind of what I wrote down. Something that came up was amen. So again, a lot of influence from Christianity, or the faith that aligns with Jesus's teachings. Again, a lot of guidance from the heavens. Really, really, really strong angelic energy. So this more so is going to be a confirmation for you in terms of the things that you are dealing with, connecting to the age 22. So think about, not that you have to ruminate on this experience that shifted your whole spiritual journey around this age, but know that whatever occurred, that you're going to be able to come back from it. You're going to be able to overcome it. You're kind of feeling like you're in the dark, but look for that flickering light in the darkness. That's what's going to guide you. That flickering flame is going to grow, and it's going to become that sun. And once you're able to see how that light hits you, know that that's when you are being shown the way. You're being shown the way to what you're struggling with, out of what you are struggling with. So I'm getting a lot of that. I'm getting a lot of, like, your path is being lit by this sun, by this flickering flame. In your dark soul of the night, look for that flame to guide you out of the darkness, is what I'm getting. And trust it. Trust the spiritual signs. Don't be afraid of it. Trust it. It's not anything to fear. Know that you are being divinely guided by this fatherly figure on the other side. yeah, so pile or reading number 2, this is your reading. I hope this resonated with you. And if it didn't, that's completely fine. But this is the message that I have for you, reading number 2. So we're going to transition into reading number 3. And for reading number 3, you have number 29. Okay, number 29. All right, so this is where I'm going to stop for pile number or reading number 3. You pick 29. Things that are coming through right off the bat. Strict, Taurian energy, stubborn, strictly business, formal. You're a very formal person. I feel like you even have guides that are just really strict, really keep you on a routine, and you stick to it, stick to this routine. You're at a place where you know that you're almost there, you're almost where you want to be. You're transitioning into a state of mind where you're like, yep, this is it, I'm gonna do this, and it's very close and I can taste it, I can feel it. You're a very business formal person, like strictly business. That's kind of what I'm getting. You're a very strong person. You're very, you have a lot of confidence and faith in yourself because you've been on this journey on your own for so long. You haven't asked for anyone's help. You did this all on your own. You take the challenges and you take the challenges and you've taken the failures and the successes as lessons to help you improve. And, that's also what empowers you. That's what empowers you. Let's see. Some of the things that also came through is this is how it is. For you, it's That's how you've seen these challenges, even though they have been very difficult for you. You have taken them for what they are, and you do what you can with it, even if they are failures. How do you take those failures and take the most from those situations? You lost things that were either material or sentimental, but you've taken them. You've come a long way as well, and you honor that. But because you are so confident with who you are and how you have gotten to your point, it doesn't give you a lot of room to open your heart up to other people or to trust others. This very solo mentality has kept you very strong, and people admire you for that, but it hasn't given you the opportunity to trust others. And so what are ways that you can reteach yourself to trust others, but not necessarily make yourself vulnerable as well? And I also been on this journey on your own for a long time, and you don't need anyone else. But it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out for help. Again, I'm sensing a lot of Taurus energy, a lot of very grounded energy. If not Taurus, very grounded energy. You're not standoffish at all. You are just the type of person who takes it as it is. Take people for who they are, and you keep going. You keep going regardless of the betrayals, but at the same time, you don't easily allow it as well. You don't easily allow people to come into your space as well. And when they do, you give it like how it is. You give it like how it is, and however people take you, that's just how people are going to take you. Like, you're not going to change yourself for anybody. But know that, it's okay to trust others. It's okay to trust others. It's okay to protect yourself from others. But learn how to love others as well. Learn how to love others. Open up your heart in the sense of how do you show compassion? How do you show compassion? Because oftentimes you could come off as very cold-hearted, not warm, very what am I getting? What am I trying to say? Very standoffish. Like, people don't get that warm part of you a lot. And anyway, it's okay, but how do you show compassion as well? Sometimes you think it in your head, but you don't express it. And so if you feel the need to express it, then do it. If you don't, then, that's completely fine. But, showing compassion also shows others that you're not insensitive. I think showing compassion also helps others to trust you as well. If you are trying to show others that you can be trustworthy, or you're trying to work in that part of yourself to trust others so that you're not so closed off, that compassion can help bridge that gap between you and building relationships with others. You don't have to, throw it all out there as well, but I think that short, instant, move into showing compassion can bridge that gap without doing too much, without trying too hard, or without throwing up everything that you are thinking. And I'm literally thinking about, throwing up words onto a table or throwing yourself at them. So that's kind of what I'm getting for reading number 3. This is a short reading. I hope this resonated with you, and thank you so much for tuning in. All right, we're going to transition into reading number 4. For reading number 4, you have 16. And the interesting thing about that, right away when I saw 16 come out for number 4, is when you multiply 2 4s, you get 16, right? So right away I'm getting 4 again, angelic numbers, even though that doesn't apply to 16. All right, so again, for 16, numbers that are the numbers that came out to me right away is 4, because 4 times 4 is 16, so 444, angelic numbers. Also 222, right? Because half of 4 is 2, so or even when we simplify it even more, there's 1111, right? So 1111 as well is something that I'm picking up. And of course 16 years old, kind of like maybe there's a connection between that age and that's literal, right? 16 and 16 years old. A lot of light, and I'm getting a lot of white as well. Angel wings, the divine, creativity. I'm kind of sensing like you're having a kind of like a creative block, creativity blockage. Let's see, and you're thinking about how to get out of that block. And it's not necessarily, a creative block where you're an artist. This could be something where you want to get back into a hobby, but you're not sure how to approach it. And so you're going through that. And for some reason, knitting kept coming through, and I'm getting a grandmother figure. Knitting in the sense of like gifting. Obviously with the holiday right now, you could be feeling like you're trying to figure out what you want to do for your family. It could even be something like that, right? Gifting through knitting. But I'm getting a huge sense of like white curly hair. And there's like a chair or velvet. And this white curly hair could be connecting to this grandmother figure. And you know, this grandmother figure, you're thinking about her or you're connecting to her. I'm getting smiles as well, and again, holidays. So holidays is coming through just because with the holidays right now, you could be thinking about this person, or you're reminiscing, or you know, you're trying to connect with them. So yeah, the messages that are coming through is if you're having a creative blockage, you know, maybe not necessarily go back into the hobby, but take up a new craft or a new hobby. Oftentimes what artists do is they don't just practice one particular form of medium, they actually practice another. So while somebody could be doing, you know, things having to do with fabric or textiles, they could also be doing like drawings, or they could be doing videos. And so sometimes that's how artists work. And if you're somebody who is not necessarily a self-proclaimed artist, or you have multiple interests in different crafts, doing one thing can also inform another. And so it could be a time for you to take up something new, take up a new craft. And so while you're working with that new hobby, it could help give you ideas for another one. Yeah, so that's kind of all that's really coming through for number 16. I know this one's very, very specific, so it might not resonate with everyone. But if it did, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, so we'll be connecting to the 5th reading. In the 5th reading, you have 20 as your number. So just give me a few seconds to channel this number. right, so I'm gonna stop it here. I'm getting a lot of ancestral energy. I'm kind of even feeling like there's a sense of like calling you home, your ancestral home, connecting with them. So yeah, at this point, you have to connect with them, cleansing the home, and paying tribute or giving offerings. So if you haven't connected to your ancestors, now is the time to give offerings, to connect with them. Connect with your ancestors. They have a message for you. And the ironic thing is that this reading is meant to deliver a message to you about what your guides or those on the other side or your loved ones who have passed, what message are they relaying to you. But I cannot access this message because this is a message that's intended for you to find out. I'm not supposed to know what this message is about. I'm seeing that there's a lot of women in your ancestral lineage that are waiting for you, and they're they're basically waiting for you to connect with them. They have something for you. I'm even thinking that this could be something that has to do with your spiritual gifts. You've been questioning them a lot, or maybe it's something that you've overlooked and they're telling you, hey, you need to connect with us, we got to give you something. And this message is not for me to know. This is for you to know. Only you will know what this message is. Because what I'm seeing is that they're all blocking my view from what they need to show you. And so you have to figure that out. I'm kind of even sensing that it's either a language barrier, or I just cannot see it. Like, I'm not supposed to see it. I am seeing something where this is having to do with indigenous. So something with a crop, where it's like an herb. It's like an herb or a crop that is very significant to your ancestral lineage, and it's a gift. Like they're trying to give you something. They're trying to give you something, and it could even be like a spiritual gift, right? This is just my interpretation. It's a spiritual gift, and they want to give it to you, but you have to figure out what it is. You have to figure that out, either through meditation or through drumming or through like a musical instrument. Whatever sets you into that trance-like state, like utilize that tool to get you into the state that you need to, that trance-like state, to obtain that message. And they could either be delivering this to you by word of mouth, or if you're someone who receives messages through words, you could be receiving it that way, or they could be delivering it to you by the visions and the images that you are that you get. So you're someone who has spiritual gifts, but again, this message is not for me to deliver to you. Like, you have to find out what that message is. And I'm getting a strong sense of matriarchal, ancestry or spiritual practice. Like, this was something that only women practice in your ancestral lineage. And you have to discover that. You may even you might have even been getting very vivid dreams, and you're not knowing what it means, but you have to figure that out for yourself. And one way to do that is, how do you find out what signs mean the most to you, resonates with you. When you look at, say, for example, a corn, right? What does that corn mean to you? What are all the meanings associated with that corn? What does that mean to you? How does it resonate with you? What are your experiences with this symbol? What are the memories tied into this corn, right? And something that came out to me too was the year 1994 or 94. Yeah, it's almost like your spirit has to be called home, or it's time for your spirit to return home, to your ancestral home, your ancestral homeland. And when you do, there's a message waiting for you. You don't necessarily have to do that by physical travel, but through trance or through meditation or whatever it is that is your medium for connecting to or not medium, but your vessel for connecting to the spiritual world. Use that tool to help you connect. Yeah, I kind of even feel like your ancestors are waiting for you to connect with them. And so maybe this is something that they've been trying to connect with you through your dreams, but it's just kind of been going over your head. It's been going over your head, and you're like, well, I don't know why. I don't know who these people are. I have a deep feeling and connection to them, but I don't know what it means, or I don't know what they're trying to show me. And I kind of even feel like they've been trying for a long time, and very hard to they've been working really hard to try and connect with you, but it hasn't been connecting for you. And so they're waiting. Essentially, they're saying that they're waiting for you, and they're waiting for you to connect with them. And it's on you to discover like what that path looks like, or what that vessel is going to be. So a lot of matriarchal energy, and paying tribute and giving offerings. And when you do, what offerings are you going to bring with you, right? I kind of even feel like this offering is a spiritual herb. We think about sage, we think about sweetgrass, we think about basil and bay leaves. What is that offering that you're going to do? And what you can do is burn them. The easiest way to transform a physical object into a spiritual form is to burn it, because the flame has this transmutative, if that's even a word, transmutative quality that transform these physical objects into a spiritual object. And so think about what that spiritual herb, or that magical herb is going to be that will help bring you into the other world. So, number 5, this is your message. I hope it resonated with you, and thank you so much for tuning in. So we are going to transition into the last reading. Number 6, you have 13. 13, okay. So, number 13, as we all know, we just had a Friday the 13th, and what I want to say about this number 13 is that it's not a number to fear. It's kind of like the devil card or the death card in a tarot card. It's just what it signifies is the death of old things and the rebirth of new things to come. And so it's more so an indication. It's an indication. It's not anything where there's all these like negative things that are tied to the number. It's more so like signs that tell you what's going to happen. And so I'm kind of even getting the feeling that number 13, and I know I'm not writing this and I'm just going right into channeling, because for me, it kind of seems that it's faster for me to share it. So number 13, it's like the dying of old things and the rebirth or the welcoming of new things. And so looking for those signs of what's going to come is going to be better. It's going to be better. And you are meant to deal with these challenges and obstacles for a reason, because once you overcome them, you become stronger. You become stronger, and you know how to heal faster. You know how to deal with it faster. You become smarter about dealing with these things. You know, it just adds to your knowledge. It adds to your knowledge. So number 13 as well as number 6. Yeah, you're at the tail end of all these struggles that you've been dealing with. You know, you can even see number 13 as again a positive number 2, because if we add number 1 and number 3 equals 4. And for some reason, throughout all these readings that I've been doing for this particular reading, number 4 has been coming up. So do not be afraid. You can always transmute that number into 4. 4 being an even number. 4 being an even number. And again, when we simplify it even more, 2 and 2, right? 2 and 2. There's 2 2's to make 4. And so know that things are going to get better. Again, even with 13 being the last number and the last reading, we are also transitioning into 2020, right? There's 2 2's in the year. So again, it just makes more sense that, you know, this is what you're receiving from this reading, is that it's not so much of a fear for bad things. It's more so confirmation that after all these struggles that you've experienced, it's gonna get better. So this is your reading for those who picked number 13 or pile number 6. I do apologize for this, for being such a short reading, but this is pretty much all that I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this resonated with you, and I will see you in the next video.